Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something really interesting today. This is the Frsky Archer M Plus receiver. This is, as far as I know, their first access native 2.4 gigahertz receiver. Now before we get too far into this, so a little bit of history here. So the last leading receiver that Frsky had for the 2.4 gigahertz world is this guy here. This is the R-xsr. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of difference between the two receivers here. The Archer M Plus is a single antenna, whereas the R-xsr has a diversity antenna setup. The R-xsr has a pin connection, unlike the Archer, which is all direct solder. The R-xsr has this these are really terrible, this little membrane button switch deal here. And the Archer M Plus has like a real tactile switch here that you can really feel. This is definitely a much better setup than these little membrane switches. Now the other thing with the R-xsr is there was never intended to have a inverted smart port telemetry pad. There is an option to get inverted smart port telemetry here on the back. It's some pretty fine soldering. So the R-xsr is a ACCST native receiver, but Frsky has been trying to make this access able, and it does a very good job with access firmware, which gives you all the neat new features like buttonless binding, model sharing, the extra connectivity and the speed that you don't get with the old ACCST system. But this was not built to be an access receiver, whereas this guy here was built from the ground up to be access and access only. Unfortunately, for all you all the old equipment out there, you're not going to be able to use this guy. Sorry that this is the way forward as far as Frsky is going. But you know, there are plenty of R-xsrs, and I believe they're probably going to keep producing stuff like this for a while anyways. That is kind of the difference. And as far as size goes, you can see the R-xsr is a little bit bigger of a receiver in some ways and not in others. A lot of people take this and they depin the receiver to make it even smaller, but that is a really difficult job depinning these things, and it kind of sucks. And just for comparison's sakes, here is the other leading receiver, and this is the XM Plus. So the XM Plus, it's pretty much dead as far as I'm concerned. You know, the R-xsr by comparison is way smaller, still has diversity, has telemetry. Price might be the only difference, and compared to the Archer receiver, they used to make access firmware for the XM Plus, and I see that they have removed it, probably because they've run up into some hardware limitations of the XM Plus here. Here is a R9MM receiver for comparison. And here is a TBS Crossfire Nano RX, again, just for size comparison. Now, something that I've come across that I don't know if anybody else has noticed is this. So there are a ton of these little, mostly made by Tiny's LEDs, where they have integrated Crossfire connections, which is really cool. And that is one of the big benefits of the Crossfire ecosystem, is now just all your receivers kind of just pinned to these little AIO boards like this. I wish I had something in there to keep it all from falling down. There we go. Put that in there. Just pinned to these little AIO boards, so now you've got your, you know, ground power output 1 and output 2, which associate with these pads over here on the side. Then you can hook it up to your flight controller, so you have your VTX and your receiver all on a nice tidy little removable platform. These are really cool, and there's a ton of them out there, but they're all designed for the Crossfire. And in the past, I've tried to use this with the R9 system, and you can make it work by bending and moving pins around, but you know, there's more connections on the R9MM, and the pin pitch is quite a bit off. But here's something really neat. Here is the Archer. The pins line up perfectly. Ground, power, and then you have S-port and S-bus out. So what you could do is, you know, you power up You wire your power and your ground here to the side of the board. That'll associate to here. And then output 1 will come out of here. And if you're going to run like F port on an F7, you just take this right to any TX UART pad. Or if you're going to run S-Bus, then you can take this from 2 to your S-Bus input pad on your flight controller. That is a big game changer, and I'm sure this is going to drive the TBS fanboys and Trappy freaking bonkers that Frsky has made their stuff work. I don't know if this is intentional. I'm pretty sure it would be. Why would you make a weird design like that if it wasn't? But whether that's intentional or not, that is a huge benefit to running the Archer M Plus receiver. Now, if you are working with an older F4 flight controller that doesn't have an inverted telemetry pad, they do give you an option for inverted telemetry right here. With the F4 flight controllers kind of starting to phase their way out, I know there is a ton of them out there and they're still used pretty prolifically, but the F7s are becoming way more popular and the price is definitely coming down on them, whereas you're not really going to need to worry about that inverted S-port pad as much as you would have in the past. Frsky is obfuscating their IP here. They've been doing this on a lot of their new products, just sandblasting the top of their chips. I noticed they started doing this on the R9mm OTA receivers. This is an older R9mm, and you can still see all the information on the top of the chipset. But the newer stuff, they're sandblasting it so you can't get their IP. I assume that's what it's for. I couldn't really understand any other reason why they would do that. But yeah, blah, 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 blah. Who cares about the features? Does it work good? I hooked this up to my little Diatone GTB 339. It's the little box frame deal. And I went and did some range tests. Now, as far as my range test goes, I don't have enough range to actually range this thing out. It actually outran my video. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. It's only a 25 milliwatt VTX, but it outran my video. I did do some range test mode tests, and from my findings, this thing went just as far, if not a little bit farther, than the XM Plus, even though this is a diversity setup. Really kind of weird. Nice weird, but weird. So anyways, I'm going to run some video of the flight footage there, and I may just cut little snippets here and there and do some voiceover just so you guys can get an idea. I don't want to bore you with a ton of flight footage, but I'll run that right now. Okay, so here is a flight test. On the left is the R-xsr, and on the right is the Archer M Plus. Both are running Access 2.1 firmware, and as you can see at the bottom, I've blown up the RSSI numbers. And I know RSSI isn't like a super accurate way, but it's consistent between the two flights, so it should give you a good idea of the difference. Now, I slowed down the Archer, and I slowed and sped it up to kind of make it the same, so it might look a little bit weird as far as watching the fly time. As you can see, the Archer M Plus has a significantly lower RSSI than the R-xsr, and I have to believe that that comes down to the fact that it's not a diversity antenna setup. So as we're making our way down my driveway here, you can see the R-xsr is holding at least a good 20 to 25 points higher than the Archer, although all the way to the end of the driveway I never dropped out at all. The distance from where I was standing to the end of my driveway was about 275 meters or 300 yards. I did do a range test on both of these, so that's 1/3 output power. The Archer, I went 112 paces, which was about 2.5 kilometers if you do the math after you add in the 30, and 1.5 miles. And the R-xsr, I went 145 paces. That's 3.3 kilometers and about 2 miles. So there is a bit of a range difference between the two. All right, folks, there you have it. That's my initial flight and testing of the Frsky Archer M Plus Access 2.4 gigahertz receiver. So far, I really like it. I think this is a really good receiver. I haven't had any issues with it in all the flights I've done. Binding, registering, all that stuff, super simple. It does go down to like 5 milliseconds latency mode, which is nuts. Not that I can tell the difference because these things are, almost 40 years old and they don't work like they used to. But anyways, if you are in the Frsky camp and you're part of that ecosystem, this is the way forward. The ACCST is going to go away eventually. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. There's going to be plenty of products out there that are going to work with ACCST D16, but the way forward as far as Frsky is working is going to be access. This is the first step towards the new technology. So if there's anything you'd like to see me do with this receiver, different kind of tests or anything like that, let me know. I may try to, go out to the road and see if I can get this thing to range out with a much higher output VTX, just to kind of see how it works. But the technology in this, or the hardware, is going to be more future-proof than this guy is. Now, I know everybody's kind of ticked off at Frsky right now, understandably so. They've done a lot of really weird business decisions. From a business standpoint, they're probably good decisions, but in reality, it's not working out for them. But Frsky still does make some pretty good stuff, and they are still innovating. They're not resting back on the old stuff that they've had. They're trying new things, and you got to give them credit for that, rather than just sitting there and letting things happen. Fat truck. They're trying to move along with new technologies. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking this out. Again, if there's anything you want me to try out with this or different kind of tests, let me know. Put it down in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I reply to darn near every single one of them. And check me out on Patreon if you wanna support what I'm doing here. I'd greatly appreciate it. $2 it means darn near nothing to you, but it means a ton to me, especially being able to bring new tech and new tests to the channel. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking us out, and I will see you all later. Stay safe.